You know, for every honest borrower who can't pay their mortgage, there are those who weren't honest on their application form about their income. Joining us now from Stamford, Connecticut is Steve Habits, president of Threshold Mortgage, and in Irvine, California is Dani Babb, real estate analyst, professor, and author of The Accidental Landlord. Dani, I want to start with you because a lot of finger pointing has gone towards Wall Street, but the mortgage industry is the one who handed out these loans. There's been a lot of criticism of appraisers. What do we need to change in the mortgage business, Dani?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thanks, Cheryl, for having me on about this. What we need to do is not do an opposite swing, which is what's unfortunately happened. In the past, appraisers were basically on the side of the banks, and they were unfortunately going to one extreme, which was overvaluing property. As a result of all of these problems, they are now actually penalized if they overvalue property. And so they take a very drastic measure, and they do what's called a declining market value cut. So based on zip code, they automatically slash an appraisal by a certain amount. That is definitely causing a very significant problem in terms of borrowers being able to get money because they have to put more than 20% down. In some cases, that gets between 30 and 40%, which is pretty steep.
Steve, is the mortgage market absolutely frozen?
Right now, we're finding a lot more restrictions today than there were even 6 months ago. It just seems to be getting more and more stringent all the time. You heard
Dani say you had to put between 30 and 50% down. Are you hearing that?
Not in Connecticut. We're certainly not seeing that out here. However, there is talk about having all of the appraisals go through appraisal management firms, which are going to be looking to control costs. And I think that you're going to find that you're going to have less experienced appraisers out there in the marketplace, which will cause other problems.
Dani, do you think we should be bailing out foreclosure victims? Do you think that we should just go in and just take their homes off their hands?
I don't. I read through the draft of this bill, and in Section 109, the government actually says we will use our power, their newfound power, as owners of these assets, and particularly mortgage-backed securities, to help aid existing homeowners who are having trouble. And, this bill actually goes a little further than the previous ones in terms of bailouts, and that is it extends to multifamily housing. Now, it doesn't specifically include investors, but it doesn't exclude them either, and we know that most multifamily homes are owned by investors. In addition to that, there are provisions in here for tenants who are renting homes that are owned by people who are behind on their mortgages. And if the tenant is current, then the loan could potentially be frozen for that homeowner, which is a really big problem. I do not think we should be bailing people out, no.
So, Steve, final word. How do you unfreeze this system?
You hold people responsible for their actions. For homeowners that misstated their income on the application is very simple. There's an acknowledgement on the application that says that what you've stated on it is true and accurate, and if not, you're subject to Section 18 of the U.S. Commercial Code. You've basically committed bank fraud if it's not accurate. You pull their tax return, you pull their mortgage application, you say, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, would you like tax fraud or would you like bank fraud? Take your pick.
Steve Habits, Dani Babb, guys, we're going to leave it there because we just pulled Dagan McDowell off a phone call.